Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, and welcome to the environmental cleaning session in the module of healthcare waste management. You can see the title slide, which is the first slide of this session, and it gives the objectives of this session. So today we are going to learn the importance of cleaning the environment in the healthcare facilities, whether they are stationary or mobile or you have the emergency setting. So most of the time these healthcare facilities are either basic health units, rural health centers, THQ or the tertiary care hospitals. So most of the bigger the hospital is, the more is important that you have the clean environment of the hospital. Secondly, what we are going to look is to the general principles of the environmental cleaning and what could be the procedures for managing spillages of blood and body fluids, which usually happen in different sometimes in the ward, in emergencies, in operation theaters, and other areas of a hospital or a healthcare facility. And then how to clean those common areas, which for instance, sinks, floors, beds, OT beds, or normal beds they live in all those places, and how to make them infection free. So I would like to just first of all define what cleaning is, environmental cleaning is. So cleaning is the physical removal of the foreign material, such as dust and soil, and the organic material, such as blood, secretion, excretion, and the microorganisms. Physically, cleaning removes the microorganisms rather than killing them, and is accomplished with water, detergents, and the mechanical action. So most of the time, it is the water, detergent, and the mechanical action which one uses for the cleaning of the environment. And if the disinfection is required, then the different disinfectants are used. So I would like you to think about the environmental transmission pathway, why the cleaning of the environment is important. Who could be at risk from an unclean environment, and who could be responsible for keeping the environment clean? So that is very much important. So you have to look at how the environment is contaminated, and why it's important to decontaminate that environment, and who is going to do that. So the next slide shows you a picture of a ward. It looks like a ward, and you can see that the beds are there without linen. There is someone who's cleaning the floor in slippers, wearing a shorts, and with a simple wiper. So just think to yourself whether it is the right way to clean a place where the patient have been admitted, and the person who is using these cleaning materials or whatever he is doing is the right way to do that in a hospital setting. So we can divide environmental cleaning of services into two categories, and one could be the general surfaces that are touched less often, and one could be the high touch surfaces which are very, very often touched. So imagine a healthcare facility, and you go to the hospital, you go to the emergency or the ward or operation theater of a hospital, and just try to identify what could be the high touch surfaces and what could be the low touch surfaces. So let's see. If you just imagine, then the high touch surfaces could be the door handles, bed rails where the patients are put, and then different people come and go, including the healthcare workers. Then the light switches, which are very frequently used. Then sink handles, bedside furniture, edges of privacy containers, which are most of the time being drawn and then removed. And the general surfaces which are less touched upon could be the walls, rails, or curtains, where people less often place their hands, or they are less often come into the touch with the contaminated surfaces. The next slide shows you two persons cleaning a wall, wearing some special kind of variables. So they have long boots, they have yellow gloves on their hand, they have the aprons, and they are cleaning the wall. So just think why they are doing it, how they are doing it, is it right way to do, and what could be the purpose of doing this. Let's move to the general principles of the cleaning. Let's ask a couple of questions. What needs to be in place to facilitate cleaning, and in what order should things be cleaned? So how you are going to clean, what should be there for you, and what will be the way that it should be cleaned? Should it be haphazard, or there should be some scheme to do that? Is going to be a systematic way of cleaning, or you can just find something which is contaminated and start cleaning it? So, and what else need to be considered when conducting a cleaning task? So one important thing is this, that sports should be available to determine cleaning based on transmission of various potentially harmful organisms, including the probability of contamination, vulnerability of the patients, and potential for exposure to harmful organisms. So if you want to get your facility clean with your staff, so there should be enough sport, the cleaning material, equipment, everything, human resource should be there. And then when you have those, then cleaning schedule should be available to include the person responsible, the frequency and method to each patient care area. Environment should be tidy and clutter-free to ensure that effective cleaning can be undertaken. A visual inspection should be performed before the cleaning starts. So if there are things that are scattered around, they should be removed so that the proper cleaning could be done. Personal protective equipment should be worn, and those were shown in the picture I showed earlier. And there, in a very detailed, you must have learned, or you will be learning in the other modules of this course. So if the body fluid or the blood are present in the patient care areas where specific infections are suspected or confirmed, for instance, hepatitis B, C, HIV, AIDS, COVID, other viral infections. So the hand hygiene should be performed and it should be taken care of. When we talk about the general principles of the cleaning equipment should be clean and fit for the purpose. It should be in great working order and stored in clean designated area when not in use. So it shouldn't be lying anywhere. So all the cleaning material should be in one designated area, that this is the cleaning, and it should be properly marked that this is the cleaning area. And it has all the equipment, all the supplies in it. So whenever is required, it is taken out, it is recorded, used, discarded, or replaced, and then recorded, and all the records are properly maintained. Cleaning solution should be correctly prepared and stored for use, and surface cleaning cloth should be either cotton or microfiber. So this is important, that these two are known for harboring less and less of the microorganisms on them as compared to the other kind of fabrics, which are mixed fabrics, or they have different structures. Cleaning should progress from least dirty or cleanest area to the most dirty area. For example, from the wall tiles surrounding a toilet to the toilet bowl, where the most you see that it's going to be much dirtier. And from the high to low, for example, bed rails to bed legs, and from table surfaces to floor, and floor should be cleaned at the last. And that's why the cleaning is a methodical, systematic way to do it, so that no area is missed or spared. Because it is important, once again, it's important to understand that for washrooms and toilets, it's going to be walls to the toilet bowl, and for the patient attendance area, it's going to be from bed to the floors and then off. So fresh cleaning cloths should be used at the start of each cleaning session. For example, routine daily cleaning in ward. Wetted cloths should be changed for a new wetted cloth when they are no longer saturated with the cleaning solution. So you don't have to dip it again. You have to take a new cloth to dip it again if the cleaning solution is dried up. And cleaning cloths should never be double dipped into containers used for storing cleaning solutions. Double dipping can contaminate the cleaning solution in it. So the one which you are going to use to decontaminate is get contaminated if the double dipping is done. So it is a normal practice in our hospitals that they do it several times. So wonder how much the disinfectant will be contaminated when it is used from one place to the other place. So it is very important to follow these standard operating procedures so that your hospitals and your facilities, they do not have the areas and the surfaces which harbor the microorganisms, fungi and spores. Cleaning cloths and mop heads should not be shaken. So if they are shaken, then the dust and droplets are dispersed and they get stuck to the other places. Cleaning cloths and mop heads should never be left soaking in buckets. Mop heads and floor cloths should be changed when visibly soiled every 1 to 2 hours and at the end of each cleaning session. So it's a regular, one has to think of having a regular supply of the most of the time using things. So these things are very much important, that the mop heads, floor cloths, they will be used a lot. So they should be ordered more and more when you prepare your hospital budget. And if you want to ensure that the patients which are admitted in your hospital or your facility are not going to get infection, and the cross infection is not going to happen from patient to the attendant or to the healthcare workers or from one patient to the other patient, and the cross infections between the wards and the facilities. For both routine and contingency, clinic schedules risk determines the frequency, method and process for cleaning in all patient areas. High touch surfaces should be cleaned at least once daily. So you cannot forget the high touch surfaces. You can't leave them for the day two. So they have to be cleaned at the end of the day. So once a day, they must be cleaned. For the less touch surfaces, they can be done weekly, on the weekly basis, or twice a week. If disinfection of the environment or equipment is required, cleaning should take place before disinfection. If you want to do the disinfection by the use of different cleaning solutions, so first do the cleaning and then do the disinfection, and never do direct disinfection, because then your disinfectant will be used more and more, just like chlorine. So if the water is contaminated and you add chlorine, you need more and more available chlorine to kill the microorganisms. But if the water is plain like this, it's very clean, so you need very little chlorine which is required to decontaminate it from the microorganisms. So most cleaning tasks will only require water and detergent. All detergent cleaning solutions should be fresh for every cleaning session. And disinfectants are not substitute for cleaning. So cleaning comes first with detergent and water and drying them up. Disinfectants, they come later. So and one very common that we use are the chlorine-based disinfectants, and those disinfectant solutions should not be used for routine environmental cleaning carried out by those who clean. It should be used only for activities that require a disinfectant after cleaning. So don't let the chlorine solution directly used by the cleaning staff for cleaning purposes. They are for the disinfection, and where the disinfection is required, first do the cleaning, then do the disinfection. So, and remember that when there are a lot of cleaning activities are going on in the hospitals, in the corridors, in the ward ways, then the floors get wet. And if somebody is running or has the shoes which do not have the slip protection, they might get injured, and slip and trips and falls may happen. So the ideal is this, that wherever the cleaning is happening, then the warning signs are there. Those small kind of signages are there that the floor are wet and be careful. So warning signs and hazards, if available, should be positioned to indicate that cleaning is taking place in that area. So with this, we come to the principles of color coding of cleaning equipment. So what do you think, why the color coding is required for cleaning equipment? Just think for a while. Why would you need this color coding for cleaning equipment. Color coding equipment dedicated to different areas within healthcare facility, for example, sanitary, clinical, and kitchen areas, can help to identify where equipment should be used and may help to prevent cross-contamination between these areas. So that's why it's important. So if there are color-coded cleaning equipment are color-coded in the one that is being used in the operation theaters, in the more contaminated areas, in emergencies, in the hallways, in the wards. They are not used in the kitchen and other areas. And also the color coding equipment dedicated to different tasks should also be taken into account. For example, one color for cleaning, another for the disinfectant. So if there is a local policy on color coding, that should be followed, but we can have some kind of understanding. There is a general kind of scheme which is used, but whatever the local policy is there, you can also use it. But just for guidance, that red color could be given to bathrooms, washrooms, showers, toilets, basins, and bathroom floors, and yellow for the clinical and isolation areas. Blue you can use for the general areas, including general wards and offices, and green for the kitchens areas and patient food service equipment at the ward level. Color coding equipment is separate from any color coding using the segregate waste. So that should be different from the segregate waste one. But this is a general scheme which prevents the cross-contamination between the very contaminated areas and the least contaminated areas, for instance, the food serving counters and other places and the kitchens. So the next question is, how should cleaning equipment be properly used, cleaned and stored? So that is also very much important. Otherwise, again, if the cleaning equipment itself is not clean, then it's going to spread the infection. So facility should designate a physical space, designated, it should be written, there should be some sort of signage over there which show the clean service area or cleaning storage or something like that should be written on it, where the preparation and care of cleaning supplies and equipment is done. Essential supplies including portable containers, cleaning cloths, mops, buckets, and wet floor or warning sign, hazard signs are there. And cleaning cars or trolleys could be helpful. They should have separate areas for clean and soiled reusable items within a lockable compartment for safe storage of solutions, and cars should not be used for the personal items. For instance, foods. So if the cars are being used for the cleaning purposes, they must not be used for other purposes such as transporting food from kitchen to the wards and other areas. So those carts should be cleaned at the end of each day or each shift, and all relevant equipment and materials should be gathered from the storage area before cleaning task is started. The equipment that you are going to use for the cleaning the environment, it should be cleaned before the use. And all reusable items should be reprocessed, that is cleaned, disinfected, and dried after they have been used in an area where a patient has suspected or known infection, or when they are soiled with blood or body fluids. Equipment that, for instance, like buckets and containers, they should be thoroughly cleaned, disinfected, rinsed both daily and whenever the solution is replaced. And manual cleaning should follow the manufacturing instructions, but generally it involves the immersing containers or buckets in a detergent solution and using mechanical action like scrubbing, etc., to remove any kind of soilage. One example is this, that disinfection can be fully done by fully immersing the containers or buckets in the boiling water or in the disinfectant solution. For the correct length of contact time, the least could be 30 minutes and it can go up to as much as is required. So rinsing them with the clean water to remove any kind of residue, and sorting them and storing them upside down to allow them to dry completely. When you have the soiled cloths, they should be safely stored for reprocessing so that they cannot be touched until they are clean. Mop heads, floor cloths, soil cleaning cloths should be laundered or reprocessed at least daily at the end of the day and allowed to fully dry before storage and the reuse. And mops should be stored at the head up. It shouldn't be head down, it should be head up so that it dries completely. For manual cleaning such as the cloth and linen, they should be immersed into detergent solution and scrubbed to remove any soil material over it anywhere in the laundry facilities, or if the laundry facilities are not available. And this should be done very by wearing protection. You should have PPPs, because those linens, they can have spoiled blood or secretions of the infected patients, especially coming from the isolation wards. They are much contaminated. So items should be disinfected by immersing them in boiling water or in disinfectant solution for required contact time. Again, the least contact time is 30 minutes to 1 hour, and it can go up. Then rinsing them with clean water and ideally hanging them out in the sun to dry, as shown in the next picture. And this is very common practice in Pakistan, to dry clothes as well, like this. So this is the natural process of acquiring ultraviolet radiation from the sunlight to disinfect the clothes or cloths. So let's look at the personal protective equipment and the hand hygiene. And the question is this, that what needs to be considered when using PPE for environmental cleaning? So personal protective equipment should offer the right level of protection for tasks and should be clean before use. And to ensure the proper safety and protection, PPE should fit correctly and should not interfere with the work task. So if your hand size is, for instance, 6, you shouldn't be wearing the 8 number glove. Or 7, and you should be wearing 6 number gloves. So neither it should be tight, nor it should be hanging around. It should be very much fit for your hand size, and the same is for your boot. And the mask should also be N95 mask, or if your N95 is not available, then you should be using the usual conventional double surgical mask, which should be at least doubled. So personal protective equipment used for cleaning tasks should be changed between different areas of the healthcare facility and different patient care areas for the obvious reasons, to avoid the contamination, cross-contamination. So what happens if the personal protective equipment it become torn or otherwise damaged? Do not continue with it. Change it, remove it as soon as you can. And single-use PPEs like gloves, which are the sterile gloves or other gloves, they should not be reused, and they should be discarded properly. Unless otherwise directed, personal protective equipment should never be placed on environmental services like bedside or the serving counter or on the patient bed or the side table. So it should go into the proper bin from where it should be taken away with the other waste material, healthcare waste material. And after you remove the PPE, the proper hand hygiene procedure, which is stored in one of the other modules of this course, how to do the hand hygiene, the proper method described in detail by in the hand hygiene books of the World Health Organization. So how to prepare and use the cleaning solutions? So how should they be prepared, and what cleaning solution should be used for different tasks? So that's the next question which comes into our mind. So let's look at the cleaning solutions, how they are prepared, and what could be some of the very much common and potential cleaning solutions. Cleaning solutions are always prepared according to the manufacturer's instructions by those who are trained to do this, including those who clean. And close attention should be paid to dilution instructions to ensure that the product is effective. That's very much important. The ratio of water and the cleaning solution, or the tablet which is put into to make the cleaning solution, should be very much accurate. Otherwise, the proper concentrations won't be achieved. Those required to kill that organism. For instance, we have patient with cholera, and to kill the Vibrio cholera, we need a certain concentration of disinfectant to inert the whatever the linen is there on which the vomit is there, or blood is there, or the feces material is there from diarrhea. So that dilution and on those solutions, they have those instructions how much concentration for which organism in which setting are required. So those should be followed. So cleaning solution should preferably be prepared in the designated environmental cleaning service area, not on the bedside, not in the ward, within that storage area. And cleaning should preferably be prepared using an automatic dispensing system that is calibrated regularly if at all positive. So manual dilution and mixing are more likely can lead to error. So if it is automated, it is fine. Otherwise, then you have to use very accurate measurement cups or the keeps or other things. So personal protective equipment might be required for preparing those solutions, particularly when disinfectants have to be used, for example, chlorine-based disinfectant solutions. To always wear the because chlorine is pungent as well. It's irritable, and its contact with the surface, the human hands need also to be avoided. So always wear personal protective equipment while preparing. One or the same person protective equipment is going to be used further in the cleaning process as well. So cleaning solution should be prepared in clean and standardized container for measuring, and containers used for storing solution should be clearly labeled with an expiration date to allow for regular replacement to ensure that they are fresh for every cleaning session. So as we talked earlier, that for every cleaning session, you should have a fresh solution. You have mop heads and the cloths should be fresh and along with the cleaning solution. So, and it should not be double dipped. So container used for storing solution should never be topped up, should not be at the up to the top of the bucket. Instead, they should be cleaned and dried before being refilled at the expiration date of time or when the container is empty. So cleaning products should never be mixed together. For example, the detergents and the chlorine-based disinfectant solution, they shouldn't be mixed. So they should remain separate. First use the detergent-based cleaning solution, and then when this is dried up, then use the disinfectant. And cleaning should take place before any required disinfecting of the environment or equipment, and most cleaning tasks will only be required just water and detergent. So if you only have to use disinfect, then only at that time use this disinfectant. If there is any kind of oil and grease, then soap or detergent solution should be used with water because water is not going to work. So it's very common sense kind of thing. So as you use in kitchens, that should be used there. Now the question comes in that when should a chlorine-based disinfection solution should be used, and what should be taken into account when using it. So when the cleaning is done, chlorine-based disinfection solution can be used on sanitary fitting, including toilets, sinks, shower basins, bath taps, and fixtures, and which should be cleaned and disinfected at least once daily after routine of cleaning of the patient area. And those are the high touch surfaces. And after cleaning, chlorine-based disinfectant solution can be used for terminal cleaning in the ward. That is when the patient has been discharged from an area. Then when the patient is gone, he or she is discharged, then all the area, including the bed and the surfaces and the floor, that should be cleaned with that solution. Disinfected with that solution after doing the cleaning. Then you do the disinfection. So after cleaning, again, chlorine-based disinfectant solution should be used in procedures areas after every procedure. For instance, delivery. So if in the delivery room, if one delivery has taken place, do the cleaning, environmental cleaning, and then use a disinfectant. And then the second delivery comes in. After that, do the cleaning, use the disinfectant. On these solutions, there are manufacturer instructions. So they should always be consulted information on the correct preparation, use and storage of chlorine-based disinfection solutions. So all those things are there. For instance, there are many such materials. When you buy them, they have this MSDS material safety data sheet on them. So there are a number of different kind of solutions available in the market. And the one who are imported, if you look at them, they have those MSDS. And for these chlorine solutions, you have those instructions. If it is not MSDS, but at least the instructions to construct them is there. So ideally, test strips should be used to confirm correct concentration of solutions for chlorine-based products. Otherwise, you can use the formulae and there are a number of methods to use it, but the ideal is this, that the test strip is used. There should be some caution should be there in your mind when you use the chlorine-based disinfectant solutions, because they can cause irritation to eye and the skin, and they are pungent as well to smell. And appropriate personal protective equipment should be worn, such as chemical-resistant gloves, gown or apron, face mask, goggles, or face sheet, because they can spill up and somehow and can damage your eyes and sensitive skin areas. The chlorine-based disinfectant solutions will bleach and damage equipment and fabrics, and this should be taken into account when considering the use of such solutions. So this should be in your mind, because it's a bleaching solution, and bleaching is one process which is very frequently used in the household at the household level as well. So if you use it on the fabric, it's going to bleach it. So that should be kept in the mind. Chlorine is corrosive. After using a chlorine-based disinfectant solution on metal, rubber, or some plastic area, the area should be rinsed with water to remove any residual chlorine. So residual chlorine should not be visible on those surfaces. You should, once the contact time is done, just rinse it properly with the water so that disinfection has been done. But chlorine doesn't keep on staying there, otherwise it is going to corrode that metal surface. Chlorine-based disinfectant solution should usually stay active for 24 hours after it has been prepared, and that time should be discarded. After that time, it should be discarded and a new solution is prepared. So if you have prepared a chlorine solution, it will only be effective. It would be having its effectiveness up to 24 hours. But if it remains more than 24 hours, just discard it. And chlorine-based disinfection solution should not be stored in the direct sunlight. They should be stored in properly tightened containers in the dark room. Otherwise, they will lose their effectiveness. So in case of spillages of blood or other body fluids, they should be immediately wiped up with the absorbent paper, towels, cloth, or absorbent granules if available. And the area then cleaned with water and detergent, and chlorine-based disinfectant solution should be used to disinfect the area. And never forget to use proper personal protective equipment while you deal with the body fluids or blood. Chlorine-based disinfection solution should never be applied directly to blood or other body fluid spillages or to the skin. So first mop them, absorb them, mop them, use the clean with water and detergent, and when there is no blood or body fluid, then use the chlorine as a disinfectant. So how to use it for body fluids and the blood, how to clean it. So the method goes like this, as you see and these are the steps, 1 to a number of steps. I think there are 17 or 18 steps. So you will see those steps. So these are very much important. These are part of SOPs, and the people who are involved in the cleaning in the environment in a hospital or in a healthcare facility are involved. They should have these SOPs with them. They must know how to do that in the same order, and those can be pasted as well in the cleaning areas. First, perform the hand hygiene, proper hand hygiene method. Then put on the PPEs, just as you do for the operation theatre. Position warning hazard signs where appropriate to indicate a cleaning task is going to take place. So cordon off that area. Confine the spill immediately with absorbent paper towels, and it is very important to confine that area with the hazard signs, because nobody gets into that and gets infected. Confine the spill immediately with absorbent paper towels with free chlorine at 10,000 parts per million if possible, 1 to 2,200 dilution, and 5% chlorine bleach, cloths or absorbent granules if available. Then allow the spillage to be absorbed. Gather the contaminated absorbent material. Dispose the material as infectious waste that will go into red bin. If gloves are contaminated, safely remove them, clean hands, and put on the fresh pair of gloves. Clean the area thoroughly using a clean cloth mop wetted with detergent solution and warm water only, no chlorine solution. Dispose of the cloth as infectious waste or soiled linen. Again, will go into the red bin, or if it's not available, into the yellow bin. Disinfect the spillage area, typically using, then it comes the disinfection, where you use a chlorine-based disinfectant at 500 to 5,000 ppm free chlorine. It's 1:10 or 1:100 or 5% clean chlorine bead, depending on the size of the spill. Do not use chlorine on urine spill. Do not put it on the urine spill. Just do the cleaning and other thing, but don't use the chlorine for that. But other spills you can, for body fluids and blood, later on once you do the cleaning, then you do that, but do not use it on the urine spill. Allow the disinfectant to remain wet on area for the required contact time, for example 10 minutes, but usually time ranges from 10 to 30 minutes. It depends how much contaminated that area has been. Rinse the area with clean water to remove disinfectant residue. It shouldn't be there, otherwise it will discolor the tiles. Allow the area to dry before removing the warning or hazard sign. Once it is dried, then remove the hazard sign. So it shouldn't be like this, that floor is wet after cleaning and you just remove the hazard sign and somebody gets slipped. Dispose of material as infectious waste. Immediately send all reusable supplies and equipment, for example cloths and mop heads, for reprocessing, cleaning, disinfection, or take them to the designated area for manual cleaning, and ensure that equipment is dry and stored in designated room ready for the use. The next step is to take care of, to follow the local procedure when disposing of the waste, whatever it is there, whether it's going to go into the incinerator or the landfill, or it's going to autoclave and then to the other places. So remove PPEs and dispose of it into the infectious waste as possible. If it is reusable, for example linen, send it for the laundering and wash and dry your hands. Next figure on this slide shows the whole process in case of the spirit that we have just discussed. The next slide shows a picture of a delivery room, and you can see, if I ask if you can find out some of the things that you think are of any importance. For instance, you can see what we have discussed, that there are some places which are high surface and which are low surface areas. So which one are the high and which are the low ones? If you just try to identify which are the most contaminated ones, so just if you encircle them and I press the next slide, and you see if in the next slide those are shown into the red circles. So those are the handle of the door. You can see the bed, the switch light, then the sink tap, then the utensil, then the other detergents placed over there, things are placed over there, and then the trolleys. So the red circle ones are all which are the high surface areas. Similarly, looking at the next slide, you will find this before cleaning. If you go in and you find cluttering there, so there is a lot of cluttering which we talked about. So just to reorganize it, by reorganizing, in the next picture on its right hand side, you can see that now it's much easier to get this environment clean than the before. So if the cluttering is there, that should be removed, organized, and then the cleaning should be started. So that's the end of this session, and I hope you have good understanding of cleaning the environment in any healthcare facility. Thank you very much. And one thing more, that I want to give credits to the World Health Organization's training module from which these slides have been taken. So we are grateful to World Health Organization and their team for preparing this course available on their website. Thank you.